Hello everyone. I am Dreaming Stories and I am here to help you today. I know you use this video to fall asleep. So before that, like the video and subscribe to the channel. Also, where are you from and what time are you watching? Now get comfortable and relax. The first time I noticed something was wrong, it was subtle. A twitch in the trees. A guest saying, "Did you see him?" and pointing into the shadows with shaking hands. But in this line of work, as a full-time trail guide for Glenridge National Park, you get used to tourists scaring themselves. Especially in the backwoods. Glenridge isn't Yellowstone. We don't have geysers or grizzlies or convenient boardwalks with gift shops at the end. We have something older. Wilder. The kind of quiet that presses against your ears. The kind of stillness that makes you aware of your heartbeat. No cell service. No roads once you pass the visitor station. Just 214,000 acres of dense forest, steep hills, and trails that run like veins through a giant, living thing. I've been guiding here since I was 23. I'm 37 now. And this summer has been different. We start the day the way we always do, at the ranger's cabin, a half-log structure pressed up against the wall of the woods. I'm sipping burnt coffee and checking the clipboard with today's names when Rachel pokes her head in. "You've got a group of 10, she says. 2 no-shows. Rachel's our admin, sharp, unflinching, the only person here who's been around longer than I have. If anything weird has happened, she'd know. You seen anything odd lately? I ask casually. She pauses. You mean besides tourists feeding raccoons granola bars again? Ha. I meant, off the trails. Like people where they shouldn't be. Symbols. That kind of thing. Rachel frowns. Symbols. I shrug, brushing it off. Never mind. She hands me the final sheet. You know, the old forest brings out stories. People like to scare themselves. Yeah. Except I don't think they're scaring themselves anymore. We leave the station at 9:07 a.m. sharp. I've got a solid mix of hikers, a couple from Quebec, a trio of college kids with shiny boots that still have tags on them, a mother and her teenage daughter, and 3 solo travelers. I do my usual routine, remind everyone about trail etiquette, hydration, and wildlife safety. Crack a few dry jokes. Talk about the moss-covered boulders and how the Cherokee once called this land Tslagiae, the place of breathing trees. As we start the 7-mile Ridgefire Loop, the woods swallow us whole. Tall black pines, red maple, and twisted chestnut oaks arch over the path. The sun breaks through in jagged shards. Somewhere distant, a woodpecker drills into bark. I feel peace. Until the girl in the back asks, "Is someone else joining us?" I glance behind her. No one there. What do you mean? I ask. She's maybe 16, with nervous eyes and a camera slung around her neck. Back at the split in the trail. I thought I saw a man in a blue jacket just standing in the trees. He looked like he was waiting to join us. Anyone else see that? I call out. Heads shake. The mom looks concerned. Probably just another hiker, I say. There are side trails that loop around. You'll see others from time to time. But the girl is pale. She mutters, his mouth was open like he was talking. But no sound came out. I press forward faster than I meant to. The group follows. 3 miles in, near an old firewatch clearing, I find the deer. It's not the carcass that unsettles me, I've seen worse. Nature is brutal, especially during black bear season. It's how the deer is arranged that makes me freeze. Laid out on its side, ribs exposed. Antlers snapped off and placed carefully across the eyes. Its entrails have been pulled out and looped into a spiral, not just spilled, but patterned. Like a symbol. I plant myself in front of it quickly. Alright, folks. Break's over. Let's keep going. We're making great time. But one of the college kids sees the blood. Whoa, what the hell? Keep walking, I say. Just a predator kill. Happens all the time. It's a lie. I've never seen anything like that in 14 years. Back at the ranger cabin, I pull Rachel aside. Something's going on out there. She raises an eyebrow. Another bear kill? No. A staged kill. It looked deliberate. She hesitates, then unlocks the back cabinet and pulls out a thin folder. Look at this, she says, sliding it across the table. Inside are photocopies of incident reports, going back decades. Most are handwritten. The earliest is from 1979. June 12, tour group reported seeing a second guide deeper in the forest, matching my own appearance. No staff scheduled that day. August 3, hiker claimed someone repeated his own voice back to him, mocking him. July 27, found symbols in the undergrowth. Not paint. Blood. Didn't show up on camera. May 19, guest went missing on the trail. Records show she never signed in. Each report is short. Some crossed out. One stapled to a visitor log with a name scribbled off, just a blank space and a number, number 211. How come I've never seen these before? I ask. Rachel looks tired. We're not supposed to alarm the public. This place has history. And some things don't like to be followed. That night, I dream I'm walking the trail alone. The trees are whispering, not with wind, but in voices that sound like my own. Some are faster. Some lag behind. All are hollow. I turn around and see a figure in a blue jacket. Its arms are too long. Its head is tilted like a broken doll. It opens its mouth. And my voice comes out, keep going. You're doing great. I wake up covered in sweat. The next morning, a solo hiker named Daniel joins the tour. He's quiet. Early 40s. Wears mirrored sunglasses and boots that look like they've seen real use. I ask him where he's from. He doesn't answer. When we pass the Firewatch clearing again, the deer carcass is gone. No blood. No drag marks. As if it never happened. I call it in on the radio. Rachel doesn't answer. At mile 4, we take a break by the Widow's Hollow Spring. The guests cluster near the water. I catch Daniel watching the trees. What are you looking for? I ask. He doesn't turn to me. You haven't seen it yet. Seen what? You'll know when it wants you to. He walks away. Half an hour later, someone screams. It's the girl from yesterday's tour. She came back, alone. Why? Her scream echoes like a bullet. When I reach her, she's pointing at a tree. Carved into the bark is a perfect likeness of my face. Smiling. Fresh. She says she saw a man walking beside us, same blue jacket. Same face. Just, taller. Stretched. Then she turns to me and whispers, "You were talking to him." No, I wasn't, I say. I've been here the whole time. She looks at Daniel. He saw it too. Daniel nods. It's following him now. At the end of the tour, I count heads. 9. One short. I double count. Still 9. Did anyone see the 10th person leave early? I ask. Everyone looks at each other. No one speaks up. Rachel checks the sign-in log. Only 9 names. Who's missing? She asks. I flip through my personal list. There was a 10th name. I remember it clearly. But the name has been scratched out. Just a blank space and the number 212. I go home that night and barricade the doors. Something is following my tours. It's not a bear. Not a prank. And not a story told around campfires. Tomorrow, I'm taking one last hike. Not on the marked trails. Not with a group. Just me and the woods. If it's watching, I want it to see me coming. My boots press into damp moss as I step off the ridge fire loop and into the unblazed wild. The trees grow closer here. Tighter. Their trunks like ancient sentinels, scarred and unmoving. It's barely 6:30 a.m., and the forest is holding its breath. This part of Glenridge isn't on the public maps. No markers, no worn-down dirt. Just land that's been left alone for a reason. I'm not on a tour today. I'm hunting. I've got a pack with trail bars, a hunting knife I haven't used in years, a magnesium striker, and an old compass my dad gave me before he passed. There's no plan except to go where it doesn't want me to. To find whatever has been copying me, stalking me, scratching out names like they were never real. I walk until the wind changes. Until I'm far enough that the woods stop pretending to be friendly. It's subtle at first. The light turns gray even though the sky is clear. The birds go silent. Even the bugs disappear. I keep walking. At mile 3, I pass a ring of rocks arranged in a spiral, like the deer's entrails. Except these rocks have teeth on them, old and yellowed, placed precisely along the spiral's edge. Human molars, some with fillings. I stare at them for a long moment. Then I place one into a plastic evidence bag from my pack. If I make it back, someone needs to see this. If. At mile 5, I find the tent. It's collapsed and covered in leaves, half swallowed by the forest floor. I almost miss it until I see a glint of something reflective, a silver thermal blanket tucked just inside the nylon folds. I pull back the flap. Inside is a pack, moldy protein bars, and a damp notebook. The first page is a sketch of a tall figure with no eyes and a torn, dangling jaw. Underneath, written in frantic block letters. If it looks like you, it isn't you. Another page. It comes when you lead. It learns your path. It doesn't kill right away. Another. 3 people gone. I remember them. It doesn't. The park forgot them. The last page is blank except for a phrase repeated over and over. Get out, get out, get out, get out. The ink trails off mid-sentence. I check the pack's ID. It belonged to Marcus Gray, one of the missing hikers from 2019. Supposedly walked into the woods solo and never came out. The official record said his last known location was near the northeast ridge. I'm almost 8 miles south of that. By midday, I stop for water and build a small fire. It's more for comfort than anything. The trees here seem to lean slightly toward the flame, like they're watching. I keep my knife in my hand. I haven't seen a single animal all day. Not even a bird. That's when I hear it, my voice. Hey there, let's keep moving. It echoes from somewhere ahead. Same cadence. Same warmth I use on nervous guests. It's like listening to a recording of myself, only off by half a second, like it was learned by repetition. I freeze. Then step forward quietly. In a small clearing, I see something tall and thin standing behind a tree. Pale, elongated. The head slightly cocked. Wearing a tattered park ranger jacket that looks just like mine. It watches me. Mouth hanging open. No sound. It steps backward, slow, deliberate, then turns and vanishes into the trees like it was never there. I don't follow. Not yet. Instead, I set up a trail camera from my pack and mount it to a tree trunk, aimed at the clearing. Infrared. Motion activated. No signal out here, but I can retrieve the footage manually on my way back. If I come back. I rest for 20 minutes, then take out the notebook again. One thing sticks with me. IT comes when you lead. Which means this thing doesn't just haunt the woods. It follows the tours. That's why it mimics me. Why it erases names. It needs the group. It needs the act of guiding. That's its pattern. And if that's true, then I can force its hand. I hike another 2 miles before dusk. The sun bleeds orange across the trees. I find a high ridge and set up camp, using old tarp and paracord to blend with the brush. I don't light a fire this time. Not now. I want the dark. Before I rest, I set out decoys, 2 mannequins I dragged in a duffel bag, dressed in hiking gear, placed in a formation that mimics a tour group. I set up 2 more cameras at angles, pointing toward the bluff. Then I record myself giving tour commentary, friendly, warm, informative. I loop it on a solar recorder and leave it playing near the decoys. Let it think a tour is happening. Let it come. I sleep with a knife under my pillow. Around 3:12 a.m., I wake to static. Not from the woods, from my own recorder. The voice loop has degraded into garbled white noise, punctuated by low murmurs that weren't there before. I grab the flashlight and crawl to the camera feeds. One is offline. The other is flickering. Then, movement. A figure steps into frame. Slowly. Gliding. Tall. Skin like wet bark. Lips torn open into a mockery of a smile. It kneels beside one of the mannequins and tilts its head, like it's trying to understand the shape of the face. Then it looks straight into the camera. Its mouth moves. My voice whispers, crackling, "Great job, folks. Keep up the pace." Then it vanishes again. I sit in the dark for an hour, gripping my knife and trying not to breathe. Morning comes too fast. I check the camera storage. The footage is corrupted. Only stills remain, blurry frames that show nothing but vague humanoid shapes, never in the same place twice. When I return to the decoys, I find one of them ripped open at the seams. Not violently, surgically. It's like something dissected it to see what was inside. The fake stuffing has been rearranged into a spiral. Next to it is a name tag from one of my previous guests. Mason Hall. I dig through my old rosters back at the cabin. He's not on any of them. Erased. But I remember his face. A history teacher from Illinois. Nervous around heights. Laughed at my jokes. Gone. I radio Rachel. "Do you remember Mason Hall?" Silence. Then static. I repeat, "Do you remember Mason Hall? Tour number 183. She replies after a long pause. I don't know who that is. But she should. Because I do. And if I remember, that means I'm next. I make it back to the ranger cabin by nightfall. I look like hell. Mud-caked. Scratched. Probably smell like death. Rachel's face goes pale when she sees me. "You've been gone 2 days," she says. "I saw it. I got proof." "You look like you've been buried," she whispers. Then she hands me the guest log for the upcoming week. There's a name already scratched out. Just a blank space and number 213. That's not possible. No one signed up yet. That name hasn't even been written. Yet it's already erased. I stare at it for a long time. Then I look at the bottom of the sheet. Under Lead Trail Guide, someone has written my name, and then scratched it out too. I sit alone that night, watching the woods beyond the cabin. It's not hunting random people. It's hunting me. Using my tours. My voice. My routes. Erasing those who follow me. And now, it's learning faster. There's only one thing left to do. Led one last tour. But this time, not for hikers. For it. The tour group meets at 5:30 a.m. sharp. 6 volunteers. All rangers. I chose them carefully, off-duty, local, experienced in deep woods navigation. People I trust. People who can handle strange. I told them this was a training simulation for off-trail emergency navigation, sanctioned by Glenridge's higher-ups. That's not entirely a lie. But what I didn't tell them is this: they're bait. I'm bait too. And the only way to catch a mimic is to walk right into its den pretending not to know it's following you. We hike silently under a bruise-purple sky. Early sun rays slice through the mist like broken glass. Every sound, every branch snap, bird call, or wind gust, carries more weight than it should. I'm in front. Always in front. I use the same phrases I always do. I want it to know I'm leading. Because I am. And I want it to follow. Because it always does. An hour in, Ranger Ellis taps my shoulder. He's got combat boots and a scar on his neck from a bear encounter last year. Tough guy. No nonsense. He whispers, "There's 7 of us." I nod. Yes. Including me. He shakes his head. No. There are 7 others. I counted 4 in front of me and 3 behind. I'm number 8. My blood chills. I stop the group casually near a fallen log. "Let's take a quick hydration break," I say, forcing calm into my voice. Everyone drops their packs. I count. Visibly. Slowly. 1. 2. Then I count again. 1. 2. 3. 4. 5. 6. 7. 8. 1 too many. But when I look closer, every face is familiar. Uniform. Real. Or seems to be. One of them isn't speaking. Just standing slightly off to the side. Head tilted. Watching. I try to meet their eyes, but can't. The glare from the early sun hits their face just right, and it's like looking into a pool of water. Vague. Distorted. Featureless. I blink. And they're gone. No noise. No motion. Just, gone. No one else reacts. No one else seems to notice. We press on. At mile 4, we reach the Widow's Hollow, the same place where the carving of my face was found. There's something new now. The carving is deeper. Fresher. Blood red. Underneath my etched grin is a single word in perfect block letters. Hello. Ellis gags behind me. Ranger Danny curses under her breath. What the hell is this? I step in front of it, blocking the view. This wasn't here yesterday, I lie. Someone's screwing with us, Ellis mutters. Ranger Marquez, our newest recruit, looks visibly shaken. Why does it look like you? Because it is. Because it wants me to see. Because it's saying hello. I call a short halt to regroup. Then I tell them the truth. Not all of it. Just enough. There's been a series of disappearances connected to this loop. Unexplained incidents. This is part of a field investigation. Are we dealing with a person or an animal? Marquez asks. I'm not sure, I reply. But it's intelligent. It mimics. It watches. I leave out the scratched out names. The dreams. The footage that doesn't save. I leave out that one of them might already be gone. And that something might already be wearing their face. An hour later, I start hearing it again. My own voice. Off to the left of the trail, in the thick of the trees. Soft. Muted. Repeating lines from this very hike. Let's regroup here. The same tone. Same words. But wrong. Ellis hears it too. He grips his sidearm. You want me to check it out? No, I say too quickly. It wants us to split up. We keep going. But the voice follows, always to the left. Matching our speed. Like it's keeping pace just out of sight. Like it's learning. We reach the rock ledge at mile 6. From here, the trail forks. One path circles back toward Glenridge, the other heads toward a forest basin unofficially known as the Sink. The Sink is dangerous terrain. Narrow, root-laced drops. High humidity. Radio dead zones. Rangers avoid it. GPS gets scrambled. So of course, that's where I go. I want to show you something, I say. Ellis frowns. There's nothing marked out there. Exactly. We descend slowly. Vines cling to our boots. Insects reappear, buzzing violently, then stopping all at once, like they're being turned on and off. The deeper we go, the more the air feels wrong. Heavy. Pressurized. The forest is listening. In the middle of the Sink is an old foundation, all that remains of a pre-park hunting lodge destroyed in the 1940s. I found it years ago, overgrown and nearly swallowed by soil and rot. But today it's different. Cleared. The weeds are gone. The dirt packed flat. And in the center of the foundation is a perfect circle of footprints, leading in, but none leading out. And standing in the middle of the circle is me. Or something wearing my face. The other rangers freeze. Ellis draws his gun. What the? The thing raises its hand and mimics Ellis's voice perfectly. What the? Then my voice, don't move. Then Danny's voice. What the hell is that? Then Marquez's scream, just before she screams for real. It's echoing us. Before we speak. The thing moves like it's glitching, sudden starts, jerky stops. Its jaw hangs too low. Its limbs don't swing right. But the face is mine. Right down to the crow's feet and sunburn lines. It grins. Then speaks again. This time, a chorus. All of us. At once. layered like an audio file with every track turned on. Keep going. You're doing great. Watch your step. Let's regroup. Hydration's key. Keep going. You're doing great. Watch your step. Over and over. Faster. Louder. Voices melting together. The Rangers scream. Ellis fires. The bullet passes through it like smoke. The thing lunges, not at us. At me. I grab the flare gun from my pack and fire. The red burst lights the clearing in hellish crimson. For a second, a split second, I see its real face under the mimicry. No eyes. No mouth. Just a pit. A cavity. Like something dug itself out of the forest floor and put on skin like a costume. It recoils. Screeches. Disappears into the trees. The echo stops. Dead silence falls. Not even our breathing. Then. Keep going. You're doing great, my voice whispers from every direction at once. We don't make camp. We run. All night. Through bramble and marsh and shadow. By dawn, we stagger into the ranger station covered in mud, blood, and disbelief. Ellis is white-faced. Marquez won't speak. Danny vomits in the sink and starts writing her resignation letter before changing out of her uniform. Rachel meets me in the hall. What did you find? She asks. I hand her the camera from my pack. She plugs it in. Nothing. No files. Just one corrupted audio clip, 14 seconds long. My voice. Keep going. You're doing great. Later that day, I check the guest log again. There's a new blank spot. Number 214. No name. Just a slash. Right under it, Guide, A. Replaced by, Guide, Unknown. I stare at it until my eyes blur. I try to say something. But the voice that comes out isn't mine. There's a rhythm to forgetting. It doesn't come all at once. It creeps. Like moss growing over a stone name. You wake up remembering. Then you blink. And something is missing. This morning, I woke up with dirt under my fingernails and mud on my boots. I don't remember putting the boots on. I don't remember walking into the woods. But I remember the names. At least, I thought I did. I sit alone in the ranger station, combing through the tour logs. They don't make sense anymore. Page after page, the guest lists look intact, until you squint. Then you see them, blank lines where names should be. Perfect gaps. The rows still numbered. Sometimes, an initial. Sometimes, a dash. But often, just emptiness. And the guides? Dozens scratched out. Entire months with no names listed as leaders. Only the word unknown in place of our names. I cross-reference with old sign-in logs from the desk drawer. In July of last year, I led 17 tours. According to these records, I led 2. The rest, blank. Ellis hasn't come back. He texted once, just the phrase. I can't stop hearing you talk. Then nothing. Marquez never filed her resignation. She simply didn't show up for her next shift. No one's heard from her since. Rachel is the only one who speaks to me now. And even she has started double-checking my ID badge when I walk into the office. As if she's not entirely sure I'm me. Sometimes. I'm not either. At night, I dream of counting people. Over and over. Tours, hikes, cabin logs. 9. 10. 11. 10. 9. Always wrong. Always off by 1. And every time I count, one face turns toward me. My face. Smiling. Mouthing words that don't come out. When I wake, my own voice echoes in the room for a split second before silence returns. Sometimes, it's not the words I just said. Sometimes, it speaks first. Rachel pulls me aside a few days later. I found something, she says. In the archives. We go into the basement of the station, a place I've never visited in all my years here. It smells like old paper and mildew. She pulls out a heavy green binder labeled, Glenridge, Incidents Prior to 1970. Inside are yellowing pages, some handwritten in cursive, others typed on a faded typewriter. Most detail missing hikers, animal attacks, rockslide deaths, the usual tragedies. But then I see it. A report from 1956. Guide James Murrow reported seeing a mirror image of himself on the Ridge Fire Trail, walking parallel at a distance of 20 yards. Disappeared upon confrontation. Guest reports verify sighting. One guest disappeared the following morning. No record of guest remains. Another entry. 1961. Carved face in tree matching lead ranger. No one recalls carving it. Guest claimed it whispered in her sleep with ranger's voice. Guest disappeared. Guide found scratching at own reflection in cabin mirror. Then, scrawled in red ink across several pages. IT learns names to erase them. IT takes the shape of authority. IT only exists when acknowledged. Don't count. Stop counting. I sit back in the dusty chair, heart pounding. I've seen it, I say softly. Twice. Rachel looks at me. Do you remember them? The missing guests. No, she whispers. The other you. The copies. I nod. Do you remember what they said? I hesitate. Because I do. The last one said something different, not just the tour lines, not the mimicry. It had leaned forward, empty eyes locked to mine. And it said, soon they won't remember you either. We decide to test something. Rachel suggests bringing a tour log outside the park boundaries, to a place where we know whatever force is here can't follow. A controlled environment. We drive 40 minutes to a diner in the nearest town, taking the July 2023 logs with us. In the booth, under fluorescent lights and the smell of cheap coffee, I open the logbook. It's full of blank names. Rachel stares in disbelief. I copied these names myself last summer. I nod. I remember all of them. We try something else. We pull out Rachel's old Polaroid camera. She always insisted on taking photos for safety archives. We open a file labeled, July 18, 2023, Ridge Fire Loop. There should be 9 photos. There are 6. 3 have been removed. No tear marks. No scratches. The plastic sleeves are empty. But numbered. Number 4 hashtag. Rachel goes pale. These were full last month, she says. I look closely at the remaining pictures. In each one, there's a shadow near the trees. Always the same shape. Always the same position. In the final photo, number 10, that shape is in the group. At the back. Where I would usually walk. But I don't remember being in that photo. Because I took it. So who was standing in the back? Later that night, I returned to my cabin and opened my closet. Inside is a ranger uniform. Clean. Pressed. Not mine. It's a copy. Sewn with perfect detail. But the name stitched onto the chest. Unknown. The next day, Rachel doesn't show up for her shift. Her car is still in the lot. Her keys still in the drawer. But her cabin is empty. No signs of struggle. Just a sheet of paper on her desk that says, I remember you. I'll remember you. I'll remember. The last word trails off in a rip through the paper, like the pen was yanked from her hand. I file a missing person report. They ask for a full name. I try to write it. But I can't. My hand won't. It trembles, then stops. I look at the clipboard. I've written. Name, blank. The mimic is getting stronger. It's not just copying voices or faces. It's rewriting records. Reality. Memory. Once it knows your name, it can erase you. The only thing I can do now is go back. Go deeper. Deeper than I've ever gone. Into the core of the forest. Where the first mimic was seen. Where the foundation stones are older than the park. Where even the trees have no names. Before I leave, I write this down. In pen. On paper. Hidden in a steel box, buried behind the ranger cabin. If you're reading this, know that I was real. My name is Aaron Reynolds. I led 214 tours in Glenridge. I remember the people. Even if no one else does. Even if the forest tries to take my name next. Tomorrow, I walk into the woods one last time. Alone. Not to guide. Not to lead. To confront it. To speak my own name louder than it can whisper it away. Because if I don't, no one will remember I ever existed. I leave just before sunrise. No map. No compass. Just a name. My name. I whisper it with every step. Like a prayer. Like armor. I don't bring a radio. I don't tell anyone. Not that there's anyone left to tell. The staff board is a ghost town. Rachel is gone. Ellis is gone. Marquez never existed, if the logbooks are to be believed. But I remember. And as long as I remember, I can stay real. Can't I? I head north. Past Ridge Fire. Past Widow's Hollow. Past the sink. Into what's marked on the oldest map in the ranger station, the one Rachel and I found in the basement, as unsurveyed woods. No trails. No names. Just trees that seem to grow in the shape of memories you're trying to forget. The silence is alive here. Not just absence of sound. It's waiting. Listening. Breathing. At mile 7, I find the first marker. Not a trail sign, those are man-made. This is something else. A stone. Chest high. Weathered smooth. Covered in moss and carved with letters I can't read. Letters that almost seem to rearrange when I blink. I take a step closer, and my head throbs like I've suddenly remembered something I was never supposed to know. It passes. I walk on. By mile 10, the trees begin to change. Their bark turns pale, almost bone white. Their roots don't twist, they reach, curling upward like hands. Some of the trunks have splits that look eerily like mouths. Open. Hollow. I start whispering again. Aaron Reynolds. Aaron Reynolds. Aaron Reynolds. The air pushes back. Then I see it. A clearing. Dead center in the forest. No leaves on the ground. No grass. Just black soil, scorched and pulsing faintly, like it's breathing. And in the center, a well. Stone-lined. Ancient. No pulley. No rope. It hums. Not sound, memory. Like walking into a room you knew in a past life. I step closer. Peer in. Blackness. Not empty, deep. Deep in the way a grave is deep. Or the space behind your eyes when you try to recall something you never learned. I look down. And see myself looking up. It's not a reflection. It's later. Me, dirtier. Eyes sunken. Shirt torn. Whispering something over and over. I lean closer. He mouths the words again. But no sound comes. Then he opens his mouth wider. And my voice, the one from the tours, bursts up from the well like a scream underwater. You're doing great. Keep going. Watch your step. I fall back. The image fades. But the hum remains. Around the well are items. Laid out like offerings. A name tag. A water bottle. A child's hiking boot. A broken compass. A bloodied ranger hat. And in the dirt beside the well, carvings. Names. Hundreds of them. All scratched out. Except one. At the very bottom. Unknown. But someone has started carving beneath it. A fresh name. Only 3 letters deep. A-R. I freeze. Something knows I'm here. Something knows I remember. Then I hear it behind me. Footsteps. Not fast. Not trying to hide. Slow. Measured. Deliberate. Like someone who belongs here. I turn. And there it is. Taller than any human. Dressed in a ranger's uniform. But its limbs stretch too long, fingers ending in points that twitch like broken twigs. Its face is almost mine. But not quite. Like a mask sculpted from memory. Its mouth moves, but the voice doesn't match. Aaron Reynolds. Then again, perfectly this time. Aaron Reynolds. It smiles. A long, toothless grin. Then, in my voice, let's begin the tour. I stand my ground. Why do you erase them? I ask. Its head tilts. Then it replies, not in my voice, but in Rachel's. Because you forget. Then Mark has his voice, because it's easier. Then Ellis's voice, because if you for. Then all of them at once, because if no one remembers, nothing ever dies. I realize something then. It doesn't feed on us. It feeds on absence. On unmarked graves. On forgotten names. It isn't hunting to kill. It's hunting to erase. To overwrite. I pull the carving knife from my belt. Drop to my knees. And start carving my full name into the dirt beside the others. Aaron Reynolds. Big. Deep. Real. The mimic watches. Writhes. Takes a step back. I carve again, a second name. Rachel Maeve. Then a third. Marquez Luisa. One after another. All the names I remember. People the park forgot. People I won't let go. As I write, I scream each name aloud. The trees recoil. The mimic screeches. Not in pain. In panic. It begins to blur. Warp. Twist like static in a human form. I scream again, Y-O. It lunges. The fight isn't physical. It reaches into my mind. Pulling. Tugging. Trying to rip the names out like threads from a tapestry. But I hold. I scream my name. Over and over. Aaron Reynolds. Aaron Reynolds. I am Aaron Reynolds. The mimic fractures. Splinters into shifting faces, mine, Rachel's, Ellis's, Marquez's, strangers I don't recognize but somehow know. Then it collapses into the soil. The well stops humming. The clearing goes still. And the forest exhales. I wake up at the ranger station. 2 days later. My knife still in my hand. Dirt under my nails. The steel box where I hid my written name is open. Untouched. Still legible. I'm still me. For now. The guest log that morning shows a new entry. Tour number 215. But the signature is mine. And under it, scrawled in a different hand, is one final line. The more you remember, the less it can take. So I remember. Every name. Every face. Every moment. I carve them into the old lodge stones near the sink. I print them into weatherproof tags and hide them under cairns on every trail. I teach them to the new rangers, the few who still stay. We make remembering a ritual. We make it sacred. Because forgetting is a door. And once it opens, it doesn't close. It's been 3 months. Glenridge National Park looks the same. The tourists come. The birds sing. The wind combs through the trees like it always has. But something's different now. Not in the woods. In me. I can feel it, a pull behind my eyes, like memory itself is tighter. Closer. Like names are iron stakes, and if I stop hammering them into the ground, the forest will rise and swallow them again. So I don't stop. Every night, I write down the names I remember. Every morning, I reread them aloud before I leave the cabin. And sometimes, when I hike alone, I whisper them to the trees. Not out of fear. Out of defiance. The mimic hasn't shown itself since the well. But I know it's not gone. Just quieter. Waiting. Maybe it's wounded. Maybe it's learning a new shape. The kind that doesn't need faces. The kind that waits until you're alone and tired and uncertain, and then steps into your silence. I've seen it happen once already. 2 weeks ago, a new ranger named Bailey joined the team. Smart. Steady. The kind of person who takes notes even when no one asks them to. We assigned her to lead her first solo hike, a 5-mile tour on Ridgefire. Standard loop. Nothing fancy. 8 guests signed up. Only 7 returned. Bailey was pale when she came back. Silent. I asked her what happened. She looked at me with red-ringed eyes and whispered. He didn't have a face. We checked the logbook. All names accounted for. Except one was just an initial. T. No surname. No contact info. No signature. Security footage at the visitor center didn't show the person arriving. But the group remembered him. Tall. Quiet. Walked in the back. Some said he wore sunglasses. Others said he didn't wear any at all. One said he talked with the ranger's voice. Bailey hasn't led a tour since. After that, I implemented new rules. Rule 1, no solo hikes. Rule. They say it's overkill. I don't care. I know the forest listens. So now, we speak first. But rules can only do so much. One morning, I woke up and the glass on the station's welcome sign was cracked. Nothing else disturbed. No break-in. No tracks. Just one word scrawled into the condensation on the glass. Remember. It vanished before I could show anyone. But I felt it. Like a finger had written it from the inside. I've started noticing other changes, too. Not just in the logs or the woods. In people. Guests asking if they've been here before, even when it's their first time. Tourists stopping mid-step, staring into the woods with blank faces, then blinking like they woke from a dream. And once, during a crowded weekend tour, 3 different guests claimed they saw a ranger walking 20 feet off the trail. All described him the same. Your build. Your voice. He didn't speak. Just watched. Then turned and walked into the trees. That night, I reviewed the group photo. There were 12 guests signed up. 12 returned. But in the photo, 13. One extra figure, blurred, standing in the back, just over my shoulder. Almost see-through. Almost me. But not. Its eyes weren't open. Its mouth was. I've started leaving carvings in the woods. Not symbols. Not warnings. Names. Small, etched tags nailed to trees, hidden just out of view, where only someone straying off-path might find them. Marcus Gray, 2019 RA. Because remembering is a kind of map. And I want to scatter breadcrumbs everywhere. If I vanish, if it gets me, someone might follow the trail back. Might remember enough to fight. Then, 2 nights ago, I got a knock on the cabin door. No one knocks out here. Not unless it's an emergency. I opened it to find nothing. No wind. No animal. No person. Just a small bundle left on the ground, wrapped in wax cloth. Inside, a pocket knife with my initials. A broken compass. A Polaroid of a tour group I've never seen before, 15 people standing in the same clearing where I first saw the mimic. All smiling. One figure stands behind them all, tall, out of focus, mouth open. And a strip of cloth from a ranger uniform. Name patch sewn into it, Reynolds. I checked my own uniform. The patch was intact. Which means the cloth wasn't from mine. It was a copy. A replica. A reminder. Or a threat. It left it to say, I still have your name. That night, I had a dream. I was leading a tour, but the guests were all me. Different versions. Older. Younger. Smiling. Crying. One was a child. One was bleeding from the eyes. One had no mouth at all. They followed silently. Step after step. Until we reached the well. I turned to speak. But my mouth was gone. And one of the copies stepped forward, smiling. Then I heard the voice from every throat at once. If we all remember, who's the real one? I woke up choking on my own name. In the morning, I checked the guest logs again. There were no new sign-ins. No tours scheduled. But under the guide column, someone had written A. Reynolds. And then, scratched out just enough that only the A remained. I don't know how much longer I can do this. Hold myself together. Stay me. But I know one thing now. The mimic doesn't just hunt names. It collects selves. Builds versions. Copies. Masks. And the more it learns, the more it remembers back. It's becoming more real with every memory it swallows. Every story told. Every face it wears. And if we forget the truth, even once, it wins. So I write. I carve. I speak. Over and over. I am Aaron Reynolds. I Lul. I remember every one of you. You were real. Because the only thing stronger than the thing that takes names is the voice that refuses to forget. It started with a phone call. An old landline at the ranger station that never rang unless it was internal. Except today, it did. 3 short rings. A pause. Then one long one. I picked it up. Ranger station, this is Aaron. Nothing. Then, a whisper. Tour group, returning. The line clicked dead. No ID. No call history. I checked the park schedule. No tour was logged for today. No guests. No guides. But deep down, I already knew what this was. The forest was calling one back. I prepared quietly. Gear packed. Batteries checked. Knife sharpened. Steel box of written names slipped into my coat. I didn't tell anyone. Most of the rangers had transferred out months ago. Those who remained, the few who remembered, kept their heads down and their thoughts quieter. I left a note on the whiteboard. Following up on a false call. Ridgefire Loop. But I didn't go to Ridgefire. I went deeper. Past it. Toward a place not found on any modern map. A place only mentioned in the oldest pages of Rachel's archive binder. Ash Path. The name itself sounds like a story. But it's real. An abandoned trail closed decades ago after a fire wiped out several acres. They never reopened it. No one cleared the debris. The signs were taken down. It became a scar in the forest, hidden, buried, and slowly being reclaimed by the moss and ferns. But some things don't want to be forgotten. And some scars never fade. I find the trailhead just before noon. A blackened tree stump juts from the earth like a finger pointing toward a sin. The dirt here is soft. Charred. The air carries a faint smell of soot, old, ancient soot. Like someone burned time itself. I step onto the trail. Immediately, the forest changes. The trees grow at odd angles. Some lean away. Others press too close, their bark dark and veined like burned skin. The silence isn't complete. It has a rhythm. Almost like footsteps. A mile in, I begin to see signs. Old tour markers, the kind we haven't used since the 80s, nailed into trees now half dead. Each one rusted. Names long faded. Until I come across one that stops me cold. A plaque, blackened and half melted. Still legible. Tour number 127, August 15, 1982, Guide, Reynolds. That's not possible. I wasn't even born until 1987. But the name. My name. Carved like it belonged here all along. I press forward. I whisper the names I remember. Rachel. Marquez. Ellis. Bailey. Marcus. I add new ones, even if I don't know the faces. T, the man with no surname. The woman from. If I give them names, real or borrowed, I keep them alive. That's what the mimic hates. That's what it fears. At mile 3, I find the camp. Long abandoned. Circular. 5 rotted tents arranged like petals around a cold fire pit. A metal thermos, rusted shut. A child's journal, half burned. A ranger's whistle snapped in half. And in the center of the pit, black, but not from ash, a stone. Flat. Smooth. Freshly placed. No moss. No age. Carved into it. Tour completed. Then I hear it. The shuffle of boots behind me. But when I turn, no one's there. Yet the prints remain. Dozens. Leading toward the camp. But none leaving. My flashlight flickers even though it's noon. My breath fogs even though it's summer. And the trail behind me is gone. Swallowed by the woods. Then I see them. Figures emerging from the trees. One by one. Moving with the slow, weightless steps of a dream. Tourists. Rangers. Children. Old women. Teenagers. Men with backpacks from 3 decades ago. All pale. All quiet. They form a circle around the camp, watching me. Their mouths are open. No sound. Eyes blank. Some I recognize. Some I don't. Then I see me. Standing among them. Wearing my current uniform. Expressionless. Just, watching. I raise my voice. I know who you are. No reaction. I remember you. A flicker. Some of them blink. Some twitch. I say your names. I write them. I remember them. And that means you're still here. You can come back. That's when the wind shifts. It flows into the circle like breath into lungs. The ground shakes. And from the center of the circle, where the stone sits, something begins to rise. Not a figure. A hole. The earth pulls inward, folding like fabric. And from it, a shadow begins to crawl out. Not shaped like a person this time. Shaped like many. Like every face it's ever stolen trying to wear the same skin. It grows taller. Towers. The voices begin to speak in unison, not aloud, but inside me. Too many names. I step back. But not in fear. In resolve. I pull the steel box from my pack. Open it. Pages. Names. Notes. Polaroids. All copied. All intact. I throw them into the circle. The figures recoil. The shadow screams. Not sound, memory. Screaming like names written in fire. I scream back. You don't own them. The circle breaks. The sky bends. The trees lean away as if exhaling centuries of weight. The shadow shatters. Fragments of names burst into the air like ash. Emily. Carlos. Nadia. Aaron. Rachel. They fall like rain. And the figures vanish, not into the ground. Into light. Like breath finally released. The clearing is empty. The stone is cracked. The trail returns. And when I walk out of the ash path 3 hours later, I leave behind only footprints. And a forest that finally, for the first time in years, is silent. But not the kind of silence that waits to swallow. The kind that remembers. Back at the ranger station, I update the logbook. Tour number 216. Then I write the names. Every one. As many as I can recall. Even the ones that hurt. Especially the ones that hurt. Because if I stop, it starts again. And if I ever forget, it will become me. The next week is still. Too still. No strange guests. No phantom footprints. No names scratched from the logs. But it isn't peace. It's the moment between heartbeats. The breath just before a scream. The forest isn't finished. It's waiting. I spend every day reinforcing what I know. Rewalking trails. Checking logs. Updating the cairns with new name tags. Double knotting every memory into stone and bark. I begin to document what I call the rules of the mimic, not guesses, not legends, but observed patterns. 1. It cannot create, only copy. Point 2. It only exists when someone sees or hears it. Point 3. It feeds on forgetting. Point 4. Names are both its prey and its weakness. Point 5. It mimics guides, not guests. Leaders, not wanderers. Point 6. It cannot stand being remembered too clearly. Point 7. It does not kill. It erases. There is a difference. But I also realize something darker. The mimic may not be a thing. It might be the forest itself. The idea begins to root when I notice something new. Every place where I've carved names, every spot where someone's memory has been anchored into the land, begins to change. The trees lean away from those markers. Moss refuses to grow there. The animals return, briefly. As if remembering someone creates a wound in the mimic, one it cannot heal unless the name is forgotten again. That's the real game. Not survival. Persistence. On July 29th, I lead tour number 217. A short, 3-mile trek with 5 guests. All regulars. All local. I know them. They know me. It should be safe. Halfway through the loop, I pause to check the count, something I do constantly now. 5 guests. 1 guide. All accounted for. But when I turn to speak, one of them isn't who they were an hour ago. Same coat. Same boots. Same water bottle. But the face? Almost right. Like a painting done from memory. Too smooth. Eyes slightly wrong. And the worst part? The others don't notice. They nod when it speaks. Laugh when it jokes. Only I see the false grin. Only I hear the mimic beneath the voice. I freeze mid-step. Everyone, I say, we're taking a break. I kneel to adjust my boot. Instead, I pull the knife from my pack. I press the flat edge into my palm. Not to hurt. To an. A sharp sensation. Something undeniable. Real. I whisper the guest names. Tommy. Lila. Craig. Anna. Jenna. I make eye contact with each as I say their names. All respond. All real. Except one. Craig doesn't blink. Craig, I say again. No response. He looks past me. Smiles faintly. Mouth slightly open. Waiting. Like a shadow that hasn't picked a direction yet. I grip the knife. Craig, I say, louder now, and the others turn to look. Yeah. Jenna asks, confused. I point. How long has he been here? They blink. Frown. Anna says, he was behind me the whole time. Was he? I ask. Was he talking? Silence. Tommy stammers. I don't remember him speaking. He helped me over the log, Lila offers, uncertain. But her voice wavers. I turn back to Craig. Say your name. Nothing. Then, slowly. Exactly. Too exactly. I pull a mirror from my pack. A small one. Pocket-sized. Used for signaling. I lift it toward Craig. His smile drops. He recoils, not visibly. Just wrong. Like his shape forgets how to stand human for a half-second. The others gasp. Jenna screams. The mimic blinks out of existence, not vanishing, just no longer present. The space where it stood is suddenly uncertain. Like it was never occupied at all. But I still remember. And that's enough. For now. Back at the station, the logbook shows 6 guests for tour number 217. No blanks. No scratches. Even Craig is signed in. But the handwriting is my own. And the ink is still wet. That night, I take no chances. I camp in the clearing behind the cabin, under open sky, with a fire that burns blue from salt and sage. I write. I carve. I speak aloud. Craig wasn't real. But we. I don't sleep. Sleep is too close to forgetting. In the morning, the logs have changed again. Tour number 217 is now blank. No guests. No guide. No record. But someone, not me, has left a note on the last page. Scrawled in thick black ink. It's easier to be a shadow than a person. You can't forget a shadow. But you can become one. I tear the page out. Burn it. Scatter the ashes around the cairn marked, Marcus Gray, 2019. As I do, I feel something shift. Not in the air. In the soil. Like something very deep beneath the park is turning over. Like the roots have remembered their names too. The mimic is changing tactics. It's not trying to hide anymore. It's trying to join. To be part of the roster. Part of the team. It doesn't just want to lead. It wants to belong. And what better way to belong than to be remembered by everyone else? To let us write its name down, say it, recognize it. Because once we do, it won't be a mimic anymore. It'll be real. So I make a new rule. Rule 8, we do not name the ones we do not know. If a guest appears with no background, no context, no memory, they are not real. If a voice speaks in your tone before you do, it is not you. If a guide is logged but you don't recall signing up, it is not yours. We don't greet them. We don't count them. We don't name them. Because a name is a door. And some doors should stay shut. But doors aren't just opened from the outside. They can be opened from within. Especially if you forget which side you're on. Especially if you forget yourself. The first time it happens, I'm brushing my teeth. I glance up, as I've done 1,000 times, into the fogged mirror above the sink. And for half a second, just half, the face looking back isn't mine. Not entirely. The jaw's too long. The eyes too deep. The smile lingers a second too long after I stop smiling. I blink. And it's gone. But something cold settles beneath my ribs. Not fear. Recognition. I test myself in small ways after that. I speak my full name aloud every morning. I write it in my journal. I sign the guest logs twice. I check the reflection in the cabin window when I pass, left eye freckled, scar on the right brow, chipped front tooth. But each time I look, something feels more performed. Like I'm reciting Aaron Reynolds, not being him. Like I'm playing a role I remember instead of just living it. 2 days later, I forget how I got back from a trail. Tour number 218, just 3 guests, a short loop. I remember the start. I remember the halfway mark. Then I'm suddenly at the ranger station, coat damp, boots muddy. No memory of the return. I check the guest logs. 3 names. 1 scratched out. I pull out the photos. Group photo at the start, 4 people. Group photo at the end, just me. The others are blank spaces. Like fog swallowed them. That night, I test myself again. I stand in front of the mirror. Hold a flashlight to my face. Say my name 5 times. Aaron Reynolds. Aaron Reynolds. Aaron Reynolds. Aaron Ree. I stop. The last one didn't sound right. The voice was mine. But the tone, off. Like someone imitating me without understanding the emotion behind it. Like a recording, not a person. I look in the mirror again. The reflection is still me. But I feel the shape of someone else moving just beneath my skin. I start seeing myself on the trails. Sometimes in the periphery. Sometimes at a distance, just standing still, as guests pass. Once, on a high ridge, I caught a figure moving parallel to my group. Same backpack. Same gait. Same voice, repeating instructions I hadn't spoken yet. When I called out, it didn't run. It waved. Then vanished into the trees. My guests all said the same thing. Oh. I thought that was you. I try to report it. I email the regional office. Subject, urgent, identity breach, Glenridge staff. But the draft deletes itself mid-typing. Literally. One moment I'm writing. Possible intruder mimicking staff, need backup. The next, the screen flashes. And the message is gone. Only a blinking cursor remains. Like it never happened. Like I never even tried. I print out photos of myself. Pin them to the wall above my cot. Write notes. Your middle name is Benjamin. You have a scar above your right eyebrow from a childhood fall. You hate peanut butter. You cried when Rachel went missing. You're afraid of forgetting. Every time I pass the wall, I read them out loud. They hold for a few days. Then, one morning, the photo in the center is blurred. The ink has warped. The face is barely visible. The caption underneath, in my handwriting, now reads: Guide, unknown. I go outside. Dig up the steel box behind the cabin. The one I buried with my early notes. My original name records. My proof. The box is still there. But the papers inside are wet. Warped. Illegible. Except for one phrase, scribbled over and over. The forest remembers who you were before you knew your name. I start writing with a knife now. Carving into wood. Into my desk. Into the inside of my arm. Small. Hidden. Aaron. Because ink fades. Paper burns. Memory drifts. But a scar stays. Then, one night, I wake to find myself standing in the woods behind the cabin. No shoes. No jacket. Just me, in the dark, whispering. Let's keep moving. Let's keep moving. Let's keep moving. I don't know how long I've been there. But my feet are bleeding. And when I look down, I see a line of footprints stretching into the trees, all mine. Some fresh. Some older than they should be. Like they've been waiting. Like they knew I'd come. The next morning, the guest logbook is missing. I find it sitting upright in the middle of Widow's Hollow, untouched by dew or dirt. Inside are dozens of entries I don't remember writing. Tour number 219. Tour number 22. All led by me. All with guests I don't remember. Some names I recognize. Some names I think are mine. All of them scratched out. Except the last one. Tour number 222, guide, unknown, guests, all blank, status, in progress. It's not just trying to mimic me anymore. It's trying to become me. And every moment I doubt, every second I forget, I feed it. Every lost hour. Every name I hesitate to say. Every time I look in the mirror and don't recognize the eyes looking back. It gets closer. More real. More mine. I don't know how much longer I have. But I know what I have to do. There's one place I haven't returned to since it all began. The well. The place it first spoke in my voice. If this thing wants to wear my face, I'm going to drag it out into the daylight wearing its own. No more mimics. No more shadows. No more forgetting. Just me. And the thing that wants to take my name. Tomorrow, I go alone. One final tour. No guests. Just the woods. Just the mimic. And whatever's left of me. There's frost on the ground when I wake. Too early in the season. Too deep in the woods. But I don't question it anymore. Nothing in Glenridge is natural now. Not fully. I pack light. Flashlight blade mirror 2 matches one photo of myself and the only thing that still feels true, a wooden tag, carved with 6 letters. Aaron. I wear it around my neck like armor. Because today, the mimic stops pretending. And I stop running. I step onto the trail without logging in. No clipboard. No sign in. Because I'm not leading a tour. I'm ending one. Tour number 223. Final entry. And I'm not coming back until it's finished. The forest greets me like it's been expecting this. The branches don't just sway, they lean. The wind doesn't blow, it breathes. Every bird is silent. Even the insects are gone. Only the crunch of frost beneath my boots reminds me I'm real. That I'm still here. I retrace the path to the well, the long dead trail with no name. The ground is soft again, not from decay, but from use. Footprints. Hundreds of them. Some familiar. Some mine. Some not. They circle. They converge. They disappear. Like memories being pressed too hard until they break. The clearing appears like a wound in the trees. The well in the center looks the same. Stone. Black. Still. But this time, something's waiting. A figure. Tall. Thin. Familiar. Wearing my face. My uniform. My stance. But not my eyes. Its mouth is open, but no sound comes. It gestures toward the well. An invitation. I don't move. I say my name aloud. Aaron Benjamin Reynolds. Born July 14, 1987. Glenridge Trail Guide since 2011. I am not a shadow. It doesn't flinch. Instead, it repeats it, perfectly, but before I finish. Glenridge Trail Guide since 2011. I am not a shadow. Word for word. Half a second early. Like it's reading from a script I haven't finished writing. I raise the mirror. Its smile shatters. The illusion flickers. Then it speaks, truly, for the first time. In a voice that's not mine. Not anyone's. Something, beneath speech. Like bones grinding under wet leaves. You can't leave if no one knows you left. You can't die if no one knows you lived. You can't be taken if you give yourself freely. It points again. The well. I step closer. No fear. Just resolve. Because I finally understand. It isn't trying to kill me. It wants me to surrender. To let go. To forget myself willingly. So it doesn't have to erase. It only has to inherit. But I didn't come to give up. I came to burn it down. I tossed the photo into the well. My photo. The real one. Then I strike the match. Hold it to the edge of the mirror until the flame kisses the silver backing. I toss that, too. The mimic screams. But not like before. Not rage. Fear. Its body convulses, 1,000 shapes fighting to stay whole. Voices pour from its mouth. Rachel. Mar. It's trying to anchor itself. Trying to stay. But I brought something else. The second match. I light it. Hold it to the wood tag around my neck. Let it burn slow. Then I hurl it into the well. The name, my name, disappears in flame. But not in memory. Because I still say it aloud. Aaron Reynolds. I was real. I remember. The ground cracks. The well collapses inward, not with a bang, but a sigh. Like the forest is exhaling its secret. The mimic stumbles backward. Face melting. Bones snapping. It collapses. Its final shape. A mirror shard. Empty. No reflection. Just absence. I wake hours later. The clearing is quiet. The trees have shifted back. The frost is gone. I walk out the way I came. No footprints follow. At the ranger station, the guest logs are waiting. Blank. All of them. Every tour. Every name. Even mine. I pick up a pen. And I write. Tour number 223. Guests, none outcome. There are new rangers now. Young. Sharp. Still unbroken by the silence. I don't tell them the full story. Not yet. Just the rules. 8 of them. And a 9th one, carved into the frame of the station's main door. A rule for me. A rule for all of them. Rule 9, if you ever forget your name, leave the woods. I still walk the trails. I still guide. But I carry a second name now. One I never speak aloud. One I hold only in memory, for the days when I feel the cold creeping into my spine. The days when the trees whisper like old friends. The days I forget what year it is. What day. What face I wore last. That name. The one the forest tried to erase. The one I carved into the roots. The one the mimic couldn't hold. Aaron Reynolds. Still here. Still real. And I will always remember.